In this presentation, we will take a look at help options for QuickBooks Online. Here we are in the test drive file, the free test drive file for Craig's Design and Landscaping Services. When thinking about help options related to QuickBooks, it really depends on what you're looking for help in. In other words, are you looking for technical support with the QuickBooks software? Is the QuickBooks software not loading up correctly, or you have questions about the way the functioning of the software is working? Or do we have questions that are going to be accounting related, bookkeeping related to the actual data input or the journal entries that need to be put into the system? Most of the time, the QuickBooks software works pretty well once set up and installed, and many people's questions then typically have to do with how to put something in place. It's not with really oftentimes the software not working properly, but rather with how do we use the software, how do we put information in the software. If that is the case, oftentimes you may want to be talking to, if you have a CPA firm that you're working with, or a tax firm or accounting firm. Many small companies will often have a situation set up where they will maybe be doing their bookkeeping themselves or have a bookkeeper to do the bookkeeping, and then they'll be working with a CPA firm to help with tax preparation and financial statement preparation for the taxes at the end of the year. If that is a situation, you may want to work with your tax preparer or CPA firm or accounting firm to help you to organize your data and ask them questions in terms of how to put that data input into the QuickBooks system. So if you could build a relationship with like that, even if you're doing the bookkeeping yourself, and then rely on any kind of adjustments maybe at the end of the year or advice about transactions that are not the norm, then that would be the best place to go. And that way you can line up your data input to what they would expect to see at the end of the year for tax preparation or whatever other needs that you may have. Now, if you don't have access to that and you want to get some other kind of help with QuickBooks, then there are a lot of other supports out there simply because QuickBooks is a large software, and therefore there are a lot of people that use QuickBooks, so you can search around for the QuickBooks tutorials on things like YouTube and just Google searching QuickBooks. Given the size of QuickBooks and how many people are using it, the market share that they have, you will find information that can be useful there as well, but it could be a little bit difficult to search that way. The other way you can do it, the major thing within the software for help, is to use the help item up top. So if you have questions about how to put data input into the system again, this might be the first place you'd want to go, right? You'd go up here, possibly take a look at the help options, and then if you're still confused about it, then I would go to your accounting or CPA firm and ask and see if you can verify, say, hey, I've narrowed this down. This is how I think we should do this. I went through the help menu. Do you agree with that? Possibly is the way to go. And if you don't have help from the CPA firm, then maybe you want to search this way first and then explore other types of forms such as QuickBooks Forms and the Intuit website. So the search option here would act similar to what you would expect. You would say, type into the search screen if you're trying to look for payroll or something like that, and then you could see the advice, and you can go through the information in a similar fashion as you would expect through the data input screen for the help menus. Now, the other resource you have, I'm going to close this back out, is if you go to the actual website. If you're going to go to the Intuit website, you can start to explore the help options within the Intuit website. So I'm at Intuit, that's INTUIT.com. They are the owners of QuickBooks. If I then go into the QuickBooks icon, we go into the QuickBooks portion of the Intuit website, then you'll see that we have the support items over here. So now you can call QuickBooks, but typically unless you're paying for support with the use of the software, they're not going to give you as much information about the use of the software. However, if you have questions about technical issue, the software is not running properly, then that might be the situation where you'd want to call QuickBooks and ask about the technical issue. Again, if you're talking about the bookkeeping issues, then generally you're not going to want to call QuickBooks directly unless you paid for the support for bookkeeping type of issues there. It might be easier, it might actually be better, you might find better help to be dealing with bookkeeping professionals and accountants. So there's going to be a lot of resources down here. Once again, you have the search screen within the QuickBooks website. They have some information broken out by topic, which are common areas of problem, which is going to be the help with the getting started. How do you get set up? That's typically what most people have their first issues with. That's usually one of the more complicated components. And then the advanced accounting, and then the banking, including the bank fees. Those are going to be some common topics. You can go to more topics here as well. They have the video tutorials, so it might be worthwhile to see what Intuit has in terms of video tutorials that could address your topic specifically. And you can look into the training classes and the webinars. You can also ask the community, so you can look at the community posts. So it could quite well be the case that if you have some kind of issue that someone else has had it, and it might be in the community posting. So that's another area that if you can't find your technical issue, again, the first place you'd probably go to would be the help view within online, QuickBooks Online, and then possibly go to some of the more community tabs if you're looking into a situation where it's not directly addressed in the help menu. You can also keep up to date with what's new in QuickBooks Online as well. And then we have other resources, or they have other resources, including Find an Expert, Resource Center, and the QuickBooks blog. So these are other resources that you can look into. Now, when you find an expert, note that if you're looking at a CPA firm or accounting firm to help you with tax, you really want to know what it is that you want from the person that's going to be helping you with your accounting. You may need someone, if you want someone to help you out with taxes at the end of the year and probably accounting, then you want someone that's gonna be able to take on those jobs as well. Or you might want someone just simply to be helping you with the bookkeeping. If you want someone just to help you with the bookkeeping and not to take on these other roles such as the tax preparation at the end of the year and whatnot, it might cost less then to do it in that format. And then you can look into things like QuickBooks has people that are specifically trained for QuickBooks. Now again, QuickBooks is pretty well-known software, so if you were to work with many CPA firms, they probably know QuickBooks quite well because they do have a good market share if you're working with a small to mid-size businesses. So if you're working with a CPA firm, they most likely will have familiarity with QuickBooks. However, Intuit does have a certification type process for some of their bookkeeping professionals with regards to the Intuit software. So it does depend on what you want then. If you're looking for someone, if you're going to do most of the bookkeeping yourself and you want someone to help support you with the bookkeeping and do the tax preparation and whatnot at the end of the year, you might want to be dealing with someone like a CPA firm that has those resources and can help guide you to put the information together and help you with the tax preparation at the end of the year. If you want someone to have more support, possibly do some of the bookkeeping, or more support just in bookkeeping in general and understanding the software itself, then you may want to go to someone through the Intuit website who has been certified by Intuit because they have some specialization within QuickBooks. And if you need a lot of support, it might be cheaper as well than going to a CPA firm. So you want to consider that as well. So the bottom line with the help then is if you have a technical issue with how the software is running, you may want to actually call and contact Intuit about that. If you have any question about the bookkeeping information, you probably want to start with the help information that is within the QuickBooks Online software and then branch out from that point. And then the next branch you would go to, if you're working with a CPA firm, that's the next branch I would go to. Or then if you're not and you would like to do more research on yourself, by yourself, you can then go to the Intuit website, take a look at their research information, and then if you need more help from there, consider getting an expert, either an expert that would be certified by Intuit or a CPA firm that would help you with the bookkeeping as well, depending on your needs.